Well, hello and welcome to Rolling to Win Live. This is our fifth episode. This is getting fun. It's getting to be a staple in my life here. You just put up a brick wall between us. What are we doing here?
I don't know. I'm messing around on here.
Ooh, messing around.
Oops. I don't
Nice.
know what I did. I didn't save it. I didn't think it was going to stay there.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Well, happy Veterans Day to everyone out there who's a veteran.
Happy Veterans Day.
You know what I heard today?
You're going to talk about it?
Uh-huh. Just a little. Because
Okay.
it's Veterans Day. So it kind of struck me as odd that this is how some of our young folks would feel. Ooh, all in all, we're just another brick in the
I was trying to get rid of it. It was bothering me.
you're trying to throw me off, I see, huh?
I'm not touching
But
it. Okay, continue.
yeah. So yeah, I heard it this morning that it was going to happen. Then seen some stuff. I mean, it's not that I'm angry about it myself, but I would wonder what would drive a young person to this. So, at Columbia University today, instead of celebrating Veterans Day, they're celebrating Martyrs Day, which is
Well, let's
interesting to me.
let's be clear.
I'm
It
going to
was
be clear. I'm
a
going to show the article here
small
in just a
group.
moment.
It was a small group of
It
people,
is a small
not
group, but
not
nonetheless,
Columbia University in whole.
uh,
All the students there. It was a
uh,
small,
okay.
unsanctioned group.
Well, let me just show you the thing. And even if it's a small group, that's not the question. Is really why would somebody even think about that?
It is. I just want to make sure we're clear who we're.
Well, we have to get clear by showing the article. That's what I think. I think that's the better way to do it. Share screen, Columbia University. Here we are. So you see, Columbia University student vets turn out to face down anti-veterans on a Martyrs Day protest. Then there's this little video here of the stuff going down. I mean, you can see that it's not a bunch of. I mean, it's over 50 people. So I mean, yes, small group, but there's probably over 50 people there.
Right. I just don't want to characterize that it was the
It
entire.
was all the university. I get that. I mean, I don't think
And
I don't know.
the title of the article there is not.
Well, the
It's
titles are
a,
always to get you to click on it and see.
it's a bit inflammatory, I'd say.
So, a
'Cause
vile
nobody.
Columbia University student demonstration seeking to reclaim Veterans Day in the name of Palestinians killed in Gaza turned out to be a far cry from the protests that raged on campus last year. A student vet showed up to face down the agitators and demonstrate their pride. So, we have veterans who are students at Columbia who were protesting the protesters.
Well, sort of. They already had plans. From what I read, I read a couple of different articles. They already had plans for celebrating Veterans Day on campus as normally would happen.
Mhm.
And so, and if you read this article, you see facing them down was really them having their flags out, playing some football and listening to music.
Loud
Um,
music, I heard.
yeah,
I heard
that
it was loud
like,
music.
yes. But I I don't want to.
Well, I'm not getting more political. I'm just kind of curious. So what would drive a few students to that in general? That's wild to me. That's all.
I
I
think
think it's
that
wild. I mean, I'm not angry at anybody. I'm just curious. Like, you know, is it is it I'm misinformed? Is it they're misinformed? So there
mm,
they tossed football, played music, and kept up a festive atmosphere, while across the quad, a small contingent of detractors sat on the lawn in front of the school's library. Muy interesante.
mhm.
The main goal was to take oxygen away from it and focus on the veterans who were celebrating Veterans Day with the Veterans Day parade. Okay, I can understand that. It's wild, though. It's just wild to me. But
It
let's see.
is wild to me that someone would protest. Veterans Day.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's a questionably not nice thing to do, I think.
Maybe. I mean, we do have the freedom of speech in America, so that you can
We do.
protest whatever you'd like. And here it says, we reject this holiday and refuse to celebrate it. The American war machine should not be honored for the horrors unleashed on others. Well, there is quite an American war machine, I'd say.
Hmm?
I said there is quite an American war machine.
Yeah, I don't think it's untrue that there's a war machine. Um, I think that you could sort of look at that as t twisting it.
Mm. Uh,
Again,
but right,
trying
right.
not to be political. Veterans Day is a very special day for me.
I just think that
To a
they're.
lot of
I think
people.
maybe they're. I get. Yeah, it is. I mean, thank a veteran today for sure. That's what I said on
Yeah.
the
Thank
intro.
you, baby. You're a veteran.
I mean, peacetime veteran. Because luckily I got out. I didn't get out to avoid war. I got out because I refused to follow orders correctly.
You still do.
That's right. Don't tell me what to do.
Scroll faster.
There you go. Oh, look, there's some of the veterans that turned out. The small group of veterans who were protesting this group of children. I'm assuming they're all children, but I don't know. They're all wearing masks like on
Yeah,
their
according to
face.
the article, it should be all students because after the protesting that happened during this past year with so many people being having access, the campus was open, Columbia was open to the public, and they found that so many of the people involved in the protesting that had become violent and, you know, illegal, I guess, where people were breaking into places
Mm,
and police had
hmm.
to intervene. They've locked down the campus now. You cannot gain access to the campus unless you have student or faculty ID.
An
So,
ID to get on. Well, that's
yeah, so
good.
the assumption is that it is all students.
That makes it safer. So I even went over here to Twitter and saw some fun Twitter
You went
stuff.
to Twitter.
I did. I went there.
I need chapstick for Twitter.
So today, Columbia University, a group of students chose to mark Veterans Day with a protest, redefining the holiday as Martyrs Day. They're showing the same footage as the post there.
Mm.
It looks like this might have been a post on Instagram too, maybe.
Though I may not agree, it makes me happy to see that no one was violent.
Nobody's violent, and it's a very peaceful little sit-in. It looks like.
Yeah.
I think maybe some the news outlets want it to be more than it is.
Yeah, they need to get people reading, huh?
Yeah,
Reading
yeah. I
and watching.
mean, I had just heard about it, so I was like, it's Veterans Day. Why not? Students honor terrorists instead of Veterans Day. Is our government giving them money? If so, why?
Mhm. Yeah, I did someone say, I don't know who it was, but I was looking at an article and it had some person's tweets in them, and
Hmm.
they were saying Columbia should be careful. They're going to lose federal funding if they allow things like this to continue. And I think there are a lot of, or maybe not a lot, but there are some loud people out there
Hmm.
who can potentially sometimes, if you're loud like that and don't take time to think, cause more mischief than there really was to begin with. I don't know.
So look, here is the picture shown by this guy, Brad Schwartz for Senate. I don't know if he. I guess he would have senator elect if he had won. Wouldn't he? I don't know who he is at all. But this picture here. But then this is what it looks like. You
Mhm.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
go back.
like this is not the same. I mean, this may be before when they were really rioting there. I mean, we could call it a
Yeah.
protest, but it looked like a riot to me.
Yeah,
I've
and
seen riots, and that's what
don't
they
even
look
know if
like.
that's a building at Columbia. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
what Columbia's.
but I think they have it because it says, probably this, we will honor our martyrs, and then
Mhm.
here they are peacefully observing their First Amendment
Right,
right to
just
honor.
sitting.
The,
Mhm.
yeah, which whatever. I mean, say la vie. Not for nothing, this shouldn't be allowed today because it's deliberately anti-American. Even worse, Columbia University is allowing it. It's free speech. It's free speech.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Mhm.
You could. Free speech is that thing that everybody says. Like, at least one side that I heard is like, no, people can't say that. It's violence against. And not this particular instance, but just whatever. But I'd rather see somebody say the whole thing. Like, say whatever they want to say. All right.
Yeah.
What I really want to talk about today is something else. Let's see. Stop sharing that. You got to look happier there, because now we're going to talk about mindset transformations,
Sorry, it hurts to
different
smile.
tools and techniques on Veterans Day. And all those children had the right to peacefully protest because of a veteran. So
Right.
it's a little ironic. But anyway.
We should remember this.
Remember that day at Columbia? No. So start off here. Mindset transformation tools and techniques. First thing, daily affirmations. We're going to put your
So I
site.
feel like you're so close to the camera and I'm so far away. Like I
Well,
should
you
be.
are far away, and I am pretty close.
Okay.
In comparison. So it's the way it is. Look, I cut my head off. All right. So, number one, the power of daily affirmations. So, what do you think is behind the power of daily affirmations?
Well, the more you're exposed to something, the greater opportunity you have to learn that, and that includes anything, whether it's a concept or a way of living.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, they're a powerful tool in shaping our thoughts, especially if you're using them to make things, to sort of spin things on their head. Like, I want to work on resilience, you would say, I am resilient. You want to work on strength, you would say, I am strong. Look at yourself in the mirror, repeat. I don't really do daily affirmations, but I do agree that they could be important. I mean, my affirmations are to really not think negative in general. And I have a list of things I'm going to do. What am I affirmative about? I don't know. My affirmations are more about like in the future, but I do say these things in my head that I am XYZ, etc. Looks like Aiden has gotten here. You want to meet Aiden?
Sure.
Here he is.
Hi.
Aiden, Michigan.
Yeah, I was trying to get on my computer, but it's not won't load up for some reason.
Oh man, it happens. Yeah.
And it's using my phone.
Gotcha. So how are things up there in Michigan?
Pretty good. Luckily, we haven't gotten hit with snow or anything yet. It's kind of surprising, honestly, but it's weather's still nice. It's got like solid 50 degrees here, so
Nice. I don't know what it was today here. At least 70s for sure. I was in a hoodie and had to come out of it, and then it's cold again. So I think the weather here in Virginia is like wintertime in the morning, spring around 11, summer around 2 or 3, and then winter again, or fall around 5. Fall for the winter over the night. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Consider moving. I mean, I guess if winter stay, the way they have been here, where it doesn't get too bad, like happy to kind of stay living here, but thought about like wanting to move kind of down south just because it's not a lot of fun to be in a wheelchair and like getting stuck in the snow. Experienced that last winter. My
Yeah.
wheelchair didn't have any tread on the tires, so I just get stuck spinning in one spot.
Oh, nice. Did you have one of the like rental jobs?
Yeah, it was one of the loaners I got from the hospital, so it's like
Right.
really heavy and like just like had that smooth texture on the wheels.
Yeah. Either way, the ice ain't fun on a wheelchair.
No, not at all. Oh, okay, so
It snowed here a couple years back, and the same thing got me. Get stuck. I've got these removable ramps, so I'll move them when it snows, and then just put them right back so I can go up and down. There's no ice or anything, so I just pull them in. Nothing here is like a permanent structure as far as a ramp goes. So
I said,
we were just talking about. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Continue.
Okay, right on. So we were just talking about. Yeah, daily affirmations. And trying to say, I personally don't use daily affirmations. I think that they could be useful. I just had never used them myself. You know, I have written down like who I thought I was, what I wanted to be, those sort of things to like impress upon myself goals, but I've never personally used like a daily affirmation. So have you ever used something like that? Like, you know, look in the mirror. I am amazing. I am, you know, like whatever it takes.
I've tried like, you know, I get them written down, but I just have a hard time, I guess, like committing to it. Where like I just, you know, kind of forget to do it, but I do it where in the sense where I write it down in my notebook and like try and I guess like make goals of like, you know, more like mindsets I'm trying to like maintain. So like try and, you know, if I see like something that I'm like lacking confidence in, like try and you know, I just write down things to like remind myself if I'm like struggling with something, like, you know, not to be anxious about it, like try and have like a little more confidence or patience with myself and like learning something. So
I can dig it.
Usually,
So you're applying some of those cool writing exercises.
Yeah, I actually really like some of those. I didn't more dedicate it directly to like Christianity, but I would kind of write it in the context of like more like Buddhism, more like acknowledging like I guess the universe instead of you know, like God. So yeah, I still found them like very helpful. Like they're kind of fun to do actually. So
Awesome. Yeah, the Logos is the Stoics called the universe, like the divine structure that holds it all together, and nobody knows how it works. The Logos. I think God is a placeholder for that sort of thing. Like God is a placeholder word, even.
Yeah, I find myself using that word a lot of times, and I feel like I've noticed a few people like in the spinal cord injury life group where like look at it, you know, like probably like interpret it like I'm, you know, speaking in terms of like Christianity, but like I just say God because it's like creator, like that's really all I'm referring to. So like, but I've had to like clarify to a few people. Like a lot, some people don't like that. The thing is,
yeah.
But
yeah, you speak Jesus, you offend people when you say Jesus a lot of times.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
It's one of my favorite arguments in that group, honestly. So it's like, like I've made the argument, you know, like it's a part of a lot of people's like healing journey. It's like I feel like everyone should be able to like express themselves. If it doesn't personally correlate with you, you know, that's totally okay. But you just move on. You know, like, you know, you don't. I feel like you shouldn't really like feed into it where like religion doesn't have a place in this group. Like religion totally has a place, you know, in a group like that. It's like I think someone did a poll too where they had asked like you know, who all was like okay with it and who wasn't, and it was like a very small minority of the group that really wasn't okay with it. And it was
wow.
Yeah, it was just kind of like a ridiculous argument, I think.
I think it's fine as long as you don't beat somebody in the face with the Bible.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh,
God hates you for a specific reason, because I don't think God would create anything that he would hate, right?
no,
So
no,
I just don't think that that's kind of the way it is. And then if you look at who Jesus hung out with, Jesus always hung out with the people who were jacked up, right? Like he hung out with the prostitutes, the tax collectors, people like that nobody even liked, and they're always asking him, "Why do you hang out with these people? They're the dregs of society." And he says that these are the people who need me the most, just to be loved where they're at, and brought into the community. It's important to be part of the community. I wish I'd realized that when I was younger, but when I was younger, I wanted to do everything on my own and didn't realize that your strength is really the network that you bring around you. And that strength is what's going to lift you up and get you to the place where you want to go.
I'm happy because at first I had done a lot of I was like in the house with a lot of stuff on YouTube, and then I'd actually been recommended by some of my therapists I was talking to like get into more groups online and stuff and talking to people, and it's definitely helped me like learn a lot of stuff or like get comfortable with a lot of things. Just like it's like seeing other people do it too, like revolving like being injured. It's like there's so many just like weird things that are so just like awkward and uncomfortable at first, and like
Right.
like some of it doesn't really seem to like get any less awkward. You just kind of get more comfortable with it. So it's like seeing other people, doing the same thing definitely makes it just like more assuring, I guess, mentally.
Oh yeah, it helps to see other people have the same similar struggle and figured out a solution before you. And I did the same thing. I laid in the hospital bed and was scrolling how to do this, how to do that. That's why I started anything online. Really, was people need that, uh, and I kind of set it in my own mind that I'm going to do well for myself, and that was my initial goal, was just to do good for myself. And as I was doing good for myself, then I set new goals for wanting to show others how I've done it, wanting to show others, certain things, like to get along that same path, or at least find their own path, and get over the hurdles that I had gotten over before. And that's what the channel, that's what the program, that's what it's all about for me, is trying to help people to get past that thing that is holding them back from getting to where they want to be. So aside from affirmations, we have a few of these to talk about. Stoic principles for inner peace and resilience. Stoicism, that whole thing, like you can only control yourself. I think that I'd hate to say that is the basis of all Stoicism, but I think that thought is at least one of the largest corners of it, is
A very core
self-control.
concept.
Yeah. So in that, I've read like the Marcus Aurelius things. I wanted to have the book in here. It's the Daily Stoic. What is it? 366. It's like kind of like a Stoic devotional. So it's a good one to have. Ryan Holiday wrote it, but I don't have it sitting in here. Anyways, the Daily Stoic, and I forget what the heck it's called, but the Daily Stoic devotional almost. And every day that thing is a different Stoic quote, principle, and exposition written by Ryan Holiday. I read through that thing in a year. I meant to get back into it, but I haven't done it. So I did that for a whole year.
What would you say it was something you had read? What was it? What was it called again?
It's called the Daily Stoic.
Okay, I've been looking for more book. What do you say? It's like pretty like attention grabby, I guess.
It's an everyday there's a Stoic lesson.
Okay.
So like it starts on January. It has 366 different entries in it, and for leap year. So it has one for leap year too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've been trying to find more like attention grabbing reads that are a little more it's because like I have a hard time like reading anything
Mhm.
unless it's like things are dull, it's kind of boring. Like it's like actually like focusing on it, retaining it. So I'm trying to find
Mhm.
more reads like kind of based around like those concepts that are just like
Mhm.
suck you in more, get you more interested in
Right,
it.
right. Shannon, what's your secret to reading?
My secret to reading?
Oh, the
Oh, I
other
know.
Shannon.
Smart ass. Sorry. Shouldn't curse on the show.
That's right. We want children in bed to watch this.
Noted, noted.
I would be the one who ruined it. Well, I have started listening to audiobooks, which is something I thought I would not really like or ever do. I started doing that when my migraines got really bad because I could not do anything sometimes for days but like lay in a dark room. And even the TV just like would kill my head, just the light from the TV. So I started listening to audiobooks, and now really the only time that I feel like I have free time to do it is in the car on the way to work. So like 15 minutes on the way to work and 15 minutes on the way home. That's kind of when I digest whatever it is I'm trying to read. I have a couple of things going right now because I haven't really settled on something that I have like found like super intense focus on. A couple of things are interesting to me, but not like, oh man, I got to hear the next thing in that. Just like, oh cool, I'm learning a couple of things in this one and a couple of things in that one. I
Nice.
fall asleep really easily these days if I sit down and try to read, which is like somewhat disappointing to me, but a lot of my neuro meds make me really tired. So,
I feel that one.
yeah.
I got a friend of mine, Jessie Strom. I don't know if you're familiar with her or not.
I think
And
I think actually she was one of the first people I started watching.
okay.
Her and Wheels to Walking. I don't know if you've seen
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
channel.
Yeah,
Um,
Richard, what's his name? I can't think of his last name, but I was actually in like a little chat group with him in it over on Instagram for about a year before he moved out west to Arizona.
he doesn't make content anymore, does he? I haven't seen
I
any.
hadn't seen anything from him in a long time. He did a local news channel thing out there, so he's still in the community, pretty active, advocating for disability stuff. So
That's
yeah,
good.
he's still out there, but he's not doing content. The guy that he was working with for all the cool stuff that he was doing ended up like taking going on filmmaking, doing something else. So um, I guess that everything has a season, right?
Yeah, I well this point that's actually part of the reason I wanted to start making like YouTube videos was just because that and like it's something I really enjoy about I can never pronounce her last name, but like Jesse's content is
Mm-hmm.
she'll do a lot of just like just like rambling and like talking to the camera, just kind of like what's on her mind
Mm-hmm.
and like just kind of like the day to day stuff that we're dealing with and
Right.
so I want to start making content kind of similar just because I don't see a lot of people my age, like I'm 21 years old and I've been very blessed with like genetics. I can't keep up with my metabolism. Like I put on strength very easily. So like, I've adapted to this very well, but I imagine there's gotta be a lot of people who haven't. I've talked to a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people who really haven't. So like I feel like it might be helpful to other people to be able to see like, 'cause my injury is pretty rough too, where it's definitely that part's not making it easier for me. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it definitely could help inspire some confidence. I've
Right.
taught a few people that I met on Reddit like how to floor transfer, just sending them
Mm-hmm.
like videos of myself doing it, just like tips and stuff, and it's like that for me was like such a huge thing for independence, where like like I always like wonder that like if I'm by myself and I fall on the floor, which has happened several times. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to like get back up into my chair, like at least be able to get up off the floor.
That's
So
right.
Yeah, I want to start making YouTube videos, but I'm just so bad with like the dealing with the camera and the editing and stuff. So it's like
Yeah,
procrastinating.
you just have to start somewhere and just do it. That's kind of how it goes. If you wait, then you'll end up quitting. That's just kind of how it is. You got
Yeah,
to do it. But here's the thing: if you make it a focus, even if you take a break for a little while, like let's say, oh man, this is too hard, your brain wants to do it because you've told your brain that you want to do it. So then you're going to find a point there in the future where you're going to pick it up again. You're going to give it another shot. You're going to get another step ahead. And then maybe you fall back at that. And then you're going to find that motivation in something that gives you that next leap. So now you're up here. That's what happened with me. I mean, I've been doing this now for, gosh, I guess like, hold on, at least 3 years before I was ever even confident enough to start going live or any of that stuff. It's just a matter of doing it. So,
And he's
uh,
old.
yeah, right. I really get angry at myself that I haven't, um, that when I was a kid, I didn't work harder to chase dreams. Instead, I was always chasing pleasures in life, and that was not necessarily what I should have been doing. Right? I wasted my 20s. I worked really hard in my 30s and thought I had gotten somewhere, and then fell off a roof and lost all that. And then, by the grace of God, here we are.
I've but like, cause I was sending you the videos of me doing the floor transfers. That like that one day I was like sitting there thinking, cause I did upload one video of me doing a
Mhm.
floor transfer, but I didn't. There was no like commentary. I didn't really like say what I was doing. I was just kind of like doing it and uploaded it.
Mhm.
So like I kind of did the one with like commentary and then like watched it a few times, saw what I could have done better. So like kind of was I guess just kind of like reforming it. I was gonna post it in the group chat first, but yeah,
Mhm.
I need to just kind of like spend a day of like sitting down, dedicating to like setting up my channel, making it look the way I want. Like
Mhm.
just kind of uploading a few videos. It's like um I feel like there's a few concepts I've come up with like one being the floor transfer, and then like one concept that I want to like push to people, I guess. And like maybe this just comes to me naturally. Like I'm a little careless, and like it's
Mhm.
got its downsides, but one thing I would say is definitely an upside is like I've pushed myself into uncomfortable scenarios and
Mhm.
just to like see if I could get out of them, and that would give like a lot of confidence. So, like um I feel like that's kind of something that happens to people who get injured is that you get a little gun shy of like you've already hurt
Mhm.
yourself really bad. You
Mhm.
don't want to do it again and like make it worse. So like
Right.
people definitely seem to be a little gun shy about like being mobile, moving around, but
I don't think I left the house for 6 months except doctor's appointments.
yeah, I was like that for my first 3 days. I didn't get off the couch, like
Yeah.
I was like just kind of stuck in that spot and just felt like coming home from the hospital, like when you're in like rehab versus like coming home, it's just two totally different worlds. Like I had someone coming to my room at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. like every
Mhm.
day. They're like helping me get dressed, take my meds, and like go down. It was very routine. Where like I was going to
Sure.
rehab, come back for
Mhm.
lunch, go back to rehab, and then like spend the rest of the day in my room. Eventually, I was able to like free roam once I got my trach out and stuff. But
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
that transition from like having other people like they're kind of guiding your experience and like you're on
Right.
their time, and then
Mhm.
you know like you're on your own time. You have to set your own routine, like your own schedule,
Mhm.
and kind of discipline yourself to do it because you don't have anyone else like making it happen, I guess.
Mhm. That's good that you recognize that. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't. So, how is it that you recognize that at 21 and other 21-year-olds are sitting on their tail in a field protesting Veterans Day?
I guess I know I there's a lot with my generation, a lot of stuff to do I just don't agree with. Like,
Mhm.
There's a lot of people that are like minded like me, and like I kind of like been blessed with being able to find those people. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think it was really just throughout my teenage years, I had a much different outlook on life. Where like I felt very passionate about the things I wanted to do, like push myself out of my comfort zone.
Mhm.
Just like really trying to like be the best version of myself that I could be. So I just kind of saw this as like another opportunity. You're still doing the same.
Uh-oh.
So,
There you go.
um, I would like cut out.
Yeah, for a
Yeah,
second.
just a little bit. You're all
Okay.
right.
My Wi-Fi is a little funny, but yeah, I just I kind of saw like that, sitting on the couch for 3 days, not really moving. I was like, this can't be my life, like
Mhm.
I'm definitely not gonna get comfortable doing this just because,
Mhm.
I like moving around, like being active, doing stuff. I always say like I wish I didn't like fall into doing like stupid delinquent stuff like as a young
Mhm.
adolescent because I was very athletic and I definitely like could have like had way more every day when I was young, like 10, 11 to like the ages like 15. I was like swimming every day, all day. Like I would skate and bike and like miles, like I would,
Mhm.
because I live in a where I live is like Traverse City. It's pretty compact. Like everything is real close together. Where like you can pretty much bike just about everywhere. So that's just what I did growing up. And if I'd chosen a different path, I can't imagine like how athletic I would have been, how healthy I would have been.
Mhm. What's the town you live in?
It's called Traverse City.
Traverse City?
Yeah,
Traverse
Traverse.
City.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
yeah, I see
Traverse.
it. City in Michigan. How about that?
It's a beautiful
Okay.
place to live for sure.
It's on the water right there. Nice. Wow.
Yep. That's
Dang, it looks
one thing.
beautiful.
Oh yeah, it was so nice growing up, like having the bay to swim in, like fresh water. Like, I'm terrified of the ocean. Every time I've gone to the ocean, it's like I don't even know what to do because like we don't have nothing like that here. It's like
Mm-hmm.
always worried about like jellyfish and
I
whatever
always
crazy
thought
critters are in there.
the first time that I saw Lake Michigan and, it looks so much like the ocean to me. It has waves and a current very similar to the ocean. And it was breezy and it was a very bizarre experience because I was expecting like a sea breeze. I was born in Florida and my family's from Long Island, so I spent a lot of time at the beach in my life. And the breeze wasn't salty like it is at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like a normal lake breeze. And I was like, but it looks like the ocean and it's not the ocean. I'm standing on a beach. It was sort of a bizarre experience the first time I saw it, but beautiful, Lake Michigan. I've seen it from Chicago, not from the Michigan side.
Oh, okay. I've always wanted to go to Chicago. I've never for some reason I've never made my way over there, but one of my like probably favorite places to go is if you ever do like go to the Michigan side, I guess it's kind of inaccessible to us now. There's a giant like dune climb, but like Sleeping Bear Dunes. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
It's like the 3,000 foot thing or whatever.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I
There's
used
a
to.
warning posted at the top. If you go down, like it's going to cost a bunch of money to save you.
Yeah, I when I was a kid, like I would like jump and see like how far out I could jump and like plant your heels in the sand, and, like slide down a bunch, and like I would like go up and down that all the time. Not now,
Mm,
there's definitely no getting up and down that, but
right,
I
right.
mean, they might make some cool kind of wheelchair that could do it, but I don't know if I would have faith in that.
I think I never even knew about it until I was already hurt. So when I saw it, I was thinking, could I ever crawl up that?
It's climbing back up is something else. It's fun going down, but you get to the bottom and you see how high it is to get back up, and it's like, oh
Hmm.
my god,
And
like
it's all sand.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it's like
trudging through sand.
there's big rocks and all kinds of stuff too. You got to watch out for it. So like,
Oh dang!
yeah, it's a nice workout climbing back up it for sure.
And is that right there close to you? How far away is that?
Oh, that's probably about 45 minutes from me. So
Okay, gotcha.
yeah, I
Pretty
live
close, but
like
not walking distance.
yeah. No,
Which
it's
nothing's
also
walking
just
distance for you
Especially.
anymore.
no. I've thought about like the only thing that sucks, is to get like down to like the village type area by my house. There's all the stores and gas stations. I got
Mhm.
there's a hill that I got to go up and down. So I'm like, I have my electric thing. Luckily it's like the Firefly thing, but
Mhm.
I've always wanted to like just go push to like see like just as like a workout, to like do it, but I don't want to go back up that hill. And I'm not pushing myself back up that hill. So
Right. That sounds terrible.
yeah, I might do it. Eventually I'll probably push myself to be like, let's find out and see if I can do it. But that not now, not anytime soon.
Keep those shoulders young. You need them for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cause damn, that's right. Cause you're 21. So if you live to be 80, that's another 60 years.
Man,
59.
80. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm 45 and I'm thinking, do we have to? No, I'm kidding. 80 sounds like a long time, but it's
It
really
cracks me
not.
up.
It's so close. So close.
I know, like, I feel like I've seen a few, like, wheelchair people that, like, really, like, have, like, they live, like, really long lives. And I'm like, man, like,
Mhm.
it blows me away. It's like, you know, my great grandpa, I believe, yeah, on my mom's side, he was, crushed by a truck, I believe. And,
Mm.
he was in a wheelchair and he lived like a really long life. And it's like
Mhm.
he was kind of like ran over by a truck, um,
Mhm.
like a construction accident. So
Mm.
like it kind of like I think he was amputated, but it like crushed like the lower half of his abdomen. So like a lot of his organs were damaged, and he still lived
Goodness.
like a very long life. It just blows me away. It's like you would
Human
not.
body's pretty resilient,
Oh yeah. Oh, much more than you'd think.
right? Can take a lot of abuse. Goodness.
So I think of mine like because like in my accident because I had gone through a windshield and I broke like 10 ribs. So I broke 7 on one side and 3 on my left, I think.
Oh.
And I punctured both of my ribs, and like it was just a miracle that I survived long enough for them to like get tubes in my lungs because I went to the hospital. My accident was pretty close to the hospital, so I was pretty fortunate for that. Where they downplayed it. Where I had fractured T2 through T9, and then had
Mm-hmm.
burst fracture at T5, and it's like that. My lungs and my collarbone. I broke my sternum. I broke my jaw actually too. And I had had my jaw wired shut for a while, but I had put a tube in at the hospital, and then they had to airlift me like 4 hours. It was only a 30-minute flight, but it was down to U of M in Ann Arbor, and like they had pretty much said like because like I've been smoking for a really long time. I've cut back a lot now, and I'm trying to get to the point where I quit. I'm still hitting these vapes, and it's like terrible. But I had like started smoking cigarettes when I was like 11 years old. So, like, and then by the time I was like 15, I was smoking a lot, like a pack a day. And so like, my lungs were already in terrible condition. I kept getting pneumonia. While they were, I had to have tubes put in my lungs. I got little Chinese symbols on both my sides now. Where like just like scars where the tubes were. And
Right.
they were like, you have like they're like you have like the worst lungs we've ever seen in a 20-year-old. Or like they like we have no idea how you even pulled through that. I'm just thinking like honestly like I was not in like super healthy shape and I still was able to pull through, and it blows me away. It's like
right. And here you are for some purpose.
absolutely, yeah.
For some purpose. Yeah. So hey, going through some of the stuff, like, are you figuring what your purpose is?
Yeah, I think definitely not entirely. I've been taking on a lot of notes, like I have a lot of plans of what I want to do with my life. I guess the one thing I'm still trying to figure out is what my place in like the spinal cord community more or less is.
Mhm.
I do think I have my purpose for I'll be hopefully settling this. I mean, I have settled it. I'm just kind of waiting for everything to go through in the courts to get
Mhm.
my settlement. But I'm still on track to start a homestead basically, and
Mhm. Mhm.
um, something I've thought about doing recently when I finished high school is learn how to do welding, just as so I
Mhm.
can like get back into working, probably like start part time and just kind of
Mhm.
Mhm.
work my way off of disability, SSI or whatever. And
Yeah, yeah.
you
That's
know,
important because at your age, that ain't nothing. Like that's just a few bucks to keep you starving,
yeah,
really. Yeah.
yeah. And for me, like I'm a busy person. Like I like to stay doing stuff. I definitely could like bang on the excuse of like, oh, I'm injured, like I can't work, but like
Mhm.
I know I can find a way. I know I'm very
But I
capable of
think there's a
working
lot
back
of
home.
welders in the wheelchairs. Like, I mean, when I say a lot, like the wheelchair community is not even that big to begin with. But there's a lot of guys that I've seen that are welding in an auto shop or auto body, even doing art. There's even some wheelchair makers out there that are in wheelchairs and do welding, and they have like a pipe bender set up and all that. Just
It
cool
was
stuff.
part of where I got it, because I saw someone make a post about it in the spinal cord group, and I was like, oh, like, is this a thing? Like, is this a job that is like common? Because I used to
Mm-hmm.
do drywall, and I
Mm-hmm.
love construction, like building stuff, like working manual labor, like but I can't quite do drywall no more, just because I can't
Sure.
get up and downstairs. I'm not gonna be able to lift sheets and stuff and do all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I like thought about like welding is totally something I could do. Like obviously there's a lot of like things I probably couldn't do in the world of welding, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure working in a shop, doing like the same routine things, that would be probably
Yeah.
pretty simple. And I definitely know it pays pretty good money too, which is another big motivator
Mm-hmm.
because compared to drywall, it definitely pays a lot more money. And
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
thought it would be a useful skill for like running a homestead, but
Mhm.
also because I could fix a lot of my own equipment, a lot of my own tools that way. But I also like the idea because like something I thought about was I'm gonna buy a new wheelchair soon when I get my settlement, and I have the one that I'm using now. I've been just beating on it for months. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely destroying this thing already. I was talking to my PM&R, and they were like, "Oh, like Medicaid will only replace it or fix it every 5 years." I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
man, like making this thing last another 4 years is probably not,
I thought they fix it
realistic.
every year. Like if it needs something, you can take it in every year and get them to service it and buy parts. It's a 3 month long process, but still,
Oh, okay. I know they
yeah.
had mentioned that they sent in an order, to
Okay.
do it. 'Cause, like my, I think I bent my rims because that electric thing
Right.
I have goes like 20 miles an hour, and I'm just like, so Michigan roads are really bad. I'm really like irrational. I'll be like on my phone, not paying attention, like go 20 miles an hour over a bump real quick, and it's like now I look down on my wheels when I'm rolling like through Walmart or something, and like they're totally wobbling, like they're
Yeah.
totally bad. So I mean, it's not like making it so it can't work, but it's probably gonna break pretty soon.
What kind of wheelchair do you have?
I got just the QRI. It's like the
The
one that
quickie.
Medicaid. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yes,
Gotcha.
the one
Yeah.
that Medicaid
They
pays
they
for.
had, they had a. Did they tell you that the slogan for that used to be "Everybody needs a quickie"?
Dude, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
I had one, but I've got a tie light now, and then I'm getting a tie light, another one here. It should have shipped out today, so one that'll fit better. We're hoping, fingers crossed.
yeah, I'm real excited because the first one I got actually was someone I met in the hospital. He had been injured like 20 years prior, but he kind of came
Mhm.
around occasionally for rehab to kind of just help out. And they had mentioned like young person in here, like totally think you guys would get along. So he came in, and I got to meet him. He was really cool. and he was kind of just helping me with stuff like floor transfers, car transfers, things like that. And he had actually loaned me one of his older wheelchairs. I can't remember what brand it was, but it was like really nice. It was like carbon fiber and titanium. The
Mm-hmm.
the only issue, they actually wouldn't let me practice with it in the hospital because they were like, like you can take it home and do it there, but like the backrest was way too short. It was really tippy, and like, so like the first day I'm like trying it out in the rehab floor, and they're like, you should not be doing that right now. And I was like, man, I gotta do it around you guys before I go home in it. But
Right.
because like I had the loaner the hospital gave me, which is like the heavy one with like, I had like the obnoxious foot plates that come way out in the front.
Right.
Like,
Right. And it folds up and all that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
like
like
that's obnoxious,
75 pounds or something crazy.
dude.
Shannon, you
Yeah,
use those every day, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She's a nurse, so
I'm a
she
master.
yeah, she
I was pushing
wheels
like
people
3 of
around.
them the other day, and somebody was just looking at me like,
they
Right.
they drive me. That one drove me nuts. I was really glad I had the nicer one to kind of use, but
Hmm.
it the only issue is the backrest is really low, so it didn't, like, it kind of made my scoliosis get really bad for a minute. It's still bad now. I keep like trying to correct my back, but it
Hmm.
the
You're a
one I got
pretty
now.
high level T4, is that right?
Yeah. I always like get that confused on like I think my injury is at T5, but I think like in the hospital they
Okay.
kept referring to me as T4, so I just get that kind of mixed up if it's like
That
what's
that
going on.
means that the I
it's where the
guess
fusion
the
started.
hardware starts at that. Like me, my hardware starts at T10 and goes
Oh,
down to, I don't know, L2, I think, something like that. That's pretty good little stretch on my back. I crushed it up real good. I don't ever mess. If I'm gonna mess up, I'm gonna mess up proper.
yeah. Yeah, I feel that one. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. I actually met someone over the last few days. They're walking now. They had recovered, but they had also been a bad car accident where
Mhm.
they had like a bunch of hardware in the leg, and then they had hardware in like the lower part of their spine, and
Mm.
that it was just like, it was actually the first time I had like met and like interacted with someone who had like had another spinal cord injury just like out in the world. So
Mm.
that was
Right, right.
that was pretty interesting. They were like, "You
I've seen
got
a
messed
couple.
up bad."
Have you ever gone out to any of the events? Is there somewhere local that you could do that with
No,
other wheelchair users?
I really want to, but we don't have much where I'm at. We have a pretty, because like
Mhm.
it's like 70% of the population in Michigan is like in the southern part of Michigan, and then where
Okay.
I'm at, we don't really have much like adaptive programs, like any of that stuff. So
Okay.
it's, yeah, I do want to get more. I'm hoping at the end of like middle to end of this winter. I want to go out to Colorado. One of my buddies, he's working and living in Aspen, so
Hmm.
he kind of sees like the Challenge Aspen program, but I want to go out there and try out the like the sit ski and like be
Mm.
able to
Right.
learn from an instructor and everything. So
A friend of mine just moved out there. I don't know if you follow her or not on Facebook or anything. It's Kinsey Dickman,
I don't think
and she is working on becoming a Paralympic skier for 2028. She
oh,
was just down in Argentina or Chile or somewhere like that it was cold, and now she's back. But she was up here pretty close to me, up here in West Virginia at the Greenbrier Resort. But where all the Olympic stuff is out there in Colorado, so she's got to be out there. So she is now officially out there for the winter, which maybe not for the winter, maybe it's for the whole forever. But she's in a van. She is van lifing it as a para.
I have seen someone that was doing it. That's kind of my plan a little bit, just because I usually go to like festivals and stuff, so it's been kind of an idea that I've had for a while to
Mm-hmm.
just do the van thing, because I always want to do it before I get injured, and I feel like it would probably be the easiest way to go about it now if I'm like gonna go camping, gonna go
Right,
like
right.
out like that, would probably be to do. I saw your video too, the way you like how easy that was, like what sold
Mm-hmm.
me, because I was gonna go with like a truck, like a half cab,
Right.
because I thought maybe being able to throw it up in the back behind me would be easier.
Mhm.
But no, you sold me with that video, and I saw how easy it was for you to just like transfer in and then just like
Oh,
move the
yeah.
wheelchair to the back.
Yeah, that rocks. Like we can throw down all the seats in there and everything. And outside of that, I've thought about just, I mean, it's not a big van. It's not like a full size monster van, but it'll hold an air mattress. I could sleep in it. I have thought about it. I don't know that I'm that gangster yet, but
Or that desperate.
well, yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't call it desperate. I just think that, I kind of like it to be nice and warm and cozy. And so I try to stay nice and warm and cozy. And I prefer cable and stuff, I guess. So I don't know. And I definitely don't want to try to potty on a bucket or anything, like
Yeah,
that.
that was
I'm
my
not
one
sold
issue.
on that. That I'm not sold. How do I, and then how do I manage the bucket afterwards? Because that means I'm going to have to manage the bucket afterwards, and I prefer not to. Like I just don't want to do that. It's bad enough going on the potty as it is. Having to do all the stuff that you have to do for bowel program and all that.
That was
Yeah.
my one thing where I was like, yeah, I don't know if I could do that, but I've, because like I don't use like a commode or anything. I just use a toilet. And I have thought about like, my whole life, I've totally had like a fear of like, taking shit in public. Like now, like I think I could go into Walmart and do it like pretty okay. I swear, like one thing about being injured is like I have lost all ounces of social anxiety. Like I just
Oh, right, yeah. It's nothing like being in the hospital and getting cast by every nurse on the floor.
yeah.
Hi, Margaret. Is Bob coming in to cast me today? Like, hi, Bob. Could you cast me?
Yeah, I was like cracked the joke.
Bob,
Like,
you're awful genteel with that.
I was cracked this joke because at U of M it's all it's like all students and stuff, and I was like nothing like broke down the barriers of like being embarrassed, like having social anxiety. Like I was like laying on my side, like they're doing my bowel program, like cleaning me up, and like I rolled back over, and there's just like 4 like very young fine med students just like standing there watching all of this happen. And they're like
Right.
my age too, so I'm just like, okay, like, or like I guess they're like, oh, is this fine? Like I forgot to ask. I'm like, I mean, we're already here, like it's what it is. Like
Right.
Too damn late now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the only time in my life I've ever had a shower with 2 hot chicks. It's in the rehab, and I'm getting scrubbed down by students. Raise your arms. Okay, fine. Like I'm the pitiful, pathetic thing that you're washing here.
Dude. Yeah, I was
like, so were we going on a date after this or not? No.
No, I'm like honestly very grateful for that. Like as like just kind of being a side effect of being injured, because I did have a lot of like social anxiety when I was like younger and like prior to being injured, and like it's very relieving now that like I just kind of go out in public and like I just very comfortable just like doing my thing. I mean, like most people like because like you definitely get after you kind of get looks in a wheelchair, and after a while you just kind of block it out. You don't really you don't really think about it much. So
yeah, I notice it more than you do now, John, I think.
That's because you're rolling around with me, and I look like Joe from Family Guy.
This is true. There are a combination of things happening there. Right.
Right. It's a spectacle to behold.
I'm not exactly tiny either.
Right.
People
I guess not. You're awful tall. Yeah.
So.
Like,
I
know you're just with me for that sweet disability.
Yeah, that check every month it hits.
Like clockwork, we know it's the 3rd.
Oh, it's the 3rd?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh dude, that's funny. That is funny. Hey, do you have people trying to constantly help you?
Oh yeah, dude, it drives me insane. I was just saying, I was just telling my buddy like something that like just absolutely infuriates me is like if I fall and people like run and they like try and grab me and like pick me up, and like I was telling like it's like my mom's husband did it like not so long ago, and like I yelled at him. I was like get off of me, like stop, like try not
Don't
to
you
swear.
ever touch me. Get your damn hands off me. What do you think
Yeah.
I am?
Well, it's like, I totally understand like people's reaction to it. 'Cause I'm sure like I would probably like, panic mode, like, oh shoot, like,
Oh
like,
yeah.
not trying to, have see like struggle on the ground. Luckily for me, like I get off the floor really easily, but like I've also like learned that it's one of the worst things you can do when someone falls, just run over and try and grab and pick them up. You never know if like maybe they got injured, maybe they got hurt more. You could make it worse because
Oh yeah.
one of my nurses actually told me that when I was in the hospital, his dad had like Parkinson's or something, and he had fallen, and he like quickly like impulsively went to grab him and pick him up, and he actually injured him worse by doing that. So like
goodness.
For me, it's really like if I fall, like I just give me a second. I'm like kind of pissed, and like I just want a second to like debrief before I get myself up.
Yeah, right. I need to breathe and figure this out. So what is our what should our protocol be, Miss Shannon? Like what would be the proper way? Yeah. Like
but
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Right. I mean, from the standpoint of staying safe, to Aiden's point, you should always, the person needs to either assess themselves to see if they've done any damage to themselves, or you need to help them assess themselves. I think something that I have learned as far as communication goes in sort of those situations is when someone is differently abled in the way that they get around, you should be asking them, to what extent do you want or need help right now in whatever situation it is? I've tried to learn to do that with you. It can be really hard for me because I'm a nurse. So the first thing I want to do all the time is just take care of someone,
It's very understandable.
Yeah. But for instance, like now that we have the van, because we didn't always have the van, John can put his wheelchair in the car so easily. And I still feel so like impulsive about wanting to help him because I just think that I should be helping him, but he doesn't really want or need my help getting it in the car. So he's just like, go get in the damn car like any normal person would get in the car,
She gets looks. She gets looks. It's
I
funny
do. I get looks from people like
because she's standing there while I get the wheelchair out and everything, and people were giving her looks, cutting her eyes. Like, what do you mean you're not helping him? That's hilarious.
He's yanking it in the car.
I'm just waiting for the time when I can just roll out on the floor and I can just be like, I can't feel my legs.
That's terrible.
I've cracked like when I was in rehab, like one of the exercises they would do is like I would be sitting on the mat, and they would do like they'd be like, all right, we're not gonna like tell you, but like we're gonna kind of it's like train and balance. So, like we're gonna like push you a little bit, just kind of like see how you catch it and how you recover. And like I'd be messing with them when they go to do it and be like stop bullying me, like stop, leave me alone, like stop picking on me. It's like people be walking by and like you just see just pushing like a handicapped person over, like just fall over.
Right. Like give no resistance at all. Oh, why did you do that?
That was one thing I love about being in rehab. Like I had just like the best therapists. They're all really cool people. So they're a lot of fun people to hang. I actually miss it a lot, like going back and just hanging out.
Yeah.
Every time I have an appointment, I always gotta stop in and see all of them. Like
that's good. I never get to see any of the ones that I worked with. But I remember I was terrified to leave. I was like, I don't want to leave.
I had this
because I knew that all my help was like going to be different, and that's just kind of I wasn't ready for my help to be different at that time. But life goes on, and I made it through.
it is a strange complex. So like I remember like first waking up in the hospital, like I wanted nothing more than to go home. I hated being there. Like it was just like I had like mental breakdowns. Like, and I already been there for like 2 weeks. I was just unconscious. I had like mental breakdowns over like don't want to be here, don't want to be in this hospital. I don't think I had fully grasped like what had like happened to me. And like by the time I had to go home from rehab, like I was just like terrified to leave. Like, I was like finally comfortable. I had routine. Like I felt like I was like, and for me, like I don't know if it was different when you had gotten injured. I know like insurance had cracked down a lot on how long people stayed. So like
Okay.
I had only about a month of inpatient rehab, and I had like a month of being in the ICU. So it was like a month, it didn't feel like I learned a lot in that month, and like luckily it definitely prepared me for coming home. But I was just like so nervous about leaving. Like I remember the first day that because I hadn't even like gone outside, like gotten fresh air. So like it was like I had been cooped up inside of a building, and the first day that they had done like an outing for me where they like took me out to eat, and I got to go to a restaurant. Yeah, it was like 3 weeks, a week before I had left to go home. So it was like gonna try to prepare me to like ride in a car again to like just see how that felt. And like I just remember like I went outside and like was in the middle of the parking lot, and like I almost started crying, like fresh air, like just like being outside, feeling the wind on me. It was like overwhelmingly like just
I mean,
like
you're in an emotional
happy.
state at that time too, crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy emotional. My life is different than what it had been previously. It's like that whole grief period. It takes a while for that to set in too.
Yeah, I still don't
If you
feel
go
like
through it, I guess some people don't go through it. Like we know Charlotte Peterson, who is a female bodybuilder, wheelchair bodybuilder. She just guest posed at the Olympia, and she seems like she was fearless from day one. Like she broke her back in the gym, like actually doing squats.
Oh
And
wow.
then broke her back in the gym actually doing squats. A doctor used her case for like some reels even that was like, this is what happened in her case, like, and all kind of stuff. And she like was only 6 months into her injury when she was competing at the Arnold this past March. So within 6 months, she was out and competing, which is just insane to me. It took me years before I was ready to do something like that. Like, I think I competed on my third year after. Well,
your heart. I mean, she got hardware, or was it just like a?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, she has hardware. She even like, so she's got like a scar in the front and a scar in the back. So I think she had a hernia and all kind of stuff.
Your hardware is not even like fused for like 6 months to a year, so that's just nutty. So like,
yeah, that's wild.
To have that confidence, I've always been like, cause like I was cracking jokes, like I'm gonna go to the skate park in my wheelchair and like all kind of stuff like that. That's one thing I think about where I'm like, should probably wait till my hardware is fully fused before I. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Have you seen this dude Eric Kondo?
I don't think so.
I gotta get off.
See. Okay. Well, thanks for joining. I was getting ready to rock because I've got to eat myself. I had to eat and then go to bed.
Yeah, I gotta go to bed. I gotta get up extra early for work. Thanks for letting me be on tonight.
It was nice meeting you, Shannon.
It was good to meet you too, Aiden. I hope we see more of you again.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know how to get off.
Okay, I got you. Adios. You're out of there.
There we go.
Instagram. Let's see here if I can find him. This dude is like, I'll show you this real quick. He does wheelchair longboarding.
Oh, interesting.
And he also open sourced wooden wheelchairs, like a do-it-yourself wheelchair. Like, I guess I just had to share the page to show you. This dude's crazy. I don't mean like he's crazy. I just mean he's like smart, super smart. So let's see. Is it that one? What's this one?
That's really interesting. Wooden wheelchairs.
Yeah, check him out.
Oh
Let's
wow,
see.
that is cool.
Yeah, it looks like he did a Halloween edition. I've seen him riding like this longboard thing at a skate park.
Have you
And
have you seen Wheels?
oh yeah, Aaron Wills, that dude
Yeah.
on the Nitro Circus. That's coming
Yeah.
here. I don't know when, sometime this month. Well, not here, but about an hour from here. Where is his
I
wheelchair
watched him
longboarding?
growing up. I actually seen him because on like the Nitro Circus DVD, like way before I got injured. But
Mhm.
I remember like when I was in the hospital, I was like, oh shoot, like I forget about this dude. And it's crazy to see, like that was like part of how like my motivation, like okay, I know I can be mobile and do all these things, like stairs. I've climbed my way upstairs. The one thing I struggle with is probably pulling my chair up behind me, but like seeing him do it, where God, that is just nutty.
Right. He's at a skate park, just rolled. I mean, that looks fun as shit.
Oh yeah, dude.
It had to be real.
Yeah, I have gone to the skate park, but not like that. I took my Firefly thing there. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, I kind of just like rode around a little bit, like just kind of messing around. I tried not to do anything crazy, but I was surprised. I was like, I might break this thing here. So
Oh, there he is riding the longboard. Oh wow.
That is sweet, dude.
I'm gonna pop the sound on.
Ox Pro skater.
As you can see, that the back of the scooter is a skateboard.
Or was in high school in 2015.
So it's really less of a practical thing.
The backstory here is that he was in a motorcycle accident as a teenager, but for someone with a thrill-seeking personality, there's just no stopping.
In some ways, it feels
That
like you're
is so
floating because
sweet,
you're
dude.
balancing.
This is his land board, which he
Yeah.
modified to make it easier to mount.
This might take me a couple shots
No way.
I could barely keep up.
because it's a little bit rough, as you can see.
Ow.
But,
Yeah.
you know,
And by the way,
That
he's
is
not
amazing.
just about accessibility.
So is he
and
just balancing
participation
that whole
sense,
time?
But also in terms of economics. He's
Yeah, it
designed
looks so
wooden
good.
and plastic chairs and makes the plans open source and posts them all online.
I sure would have liked to have these toys when I was, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that's kind of my goal, is to that other people don't have to miss out on stuff.
From the trails, I'm Matt Shearer. For more, ask Alexa
He's
to
just
play
out here doing
WBZ News
good.
Radio
You
on
know what I mean?
iHeartRadio.
Like
At 19 years old, Eric
doing good for people. He noticed that like the wheelchair companies are expensive. It's hard to get your hands on a wheelchair. So he did. He designed this, and you can pick up I think it's the open source. I don't know. Let's see. I wonder if he's got it on his deal over here.
That is
There it is. Red Pill Innovations.
That's actually
Open
one
source
idea
wheelchairs.
I did have for like when I get my homestead thing going, where so I'd like to have like a good garage, like for just like having workshop space, I guess, for like projects and things. Part of why I want to learn to weld as well. I forgot to mention that earlier. So one of my ideas I have, just because I don't like the idea of the skate park with like concrete.
Mm-mm.
I kiss your head.
Oh my gosh. All right. So he did this open source wheelchair thing. It's crazy. He's been working on his website. It looks different than it did before.
That is something that I wanted to get into, just because like the concrete at the skate park definitely throws me off, but
Mhm.
I do feel very secure in like my Firefly thing, and it is kind of a little sporty, it seems like,
Mhm.
where I feel like it does pretty good off road, and I want to be able to hit like mountain bike trails and stuff. I want to get into hand cycling too, because that does look like a lot of fun. Probably a good exercise to help with like posture and things like that.
Mhm.
But I wanted to try and make like some kind of version where like maybe like make it welded, not like the easy attach and detach, because I might break that part, like going hitting jumps and stuff.
Mhm.
But I wanted to try and make a version of my Firefly thing with my wheelchair where it's more like BMX, like kind of off road, being able to like hit jumps, do things like that. And I did kind of think of doing the same thing of like trying to create like a more affordable version of like the Firefly thing. I think I want to almost try like a gas motor version of like the wheelchair version,
Mhm.
of like the Firefly combined with my wheelchair, because I feel like that would probably be more suitable for like hitting jumps and things like that. But yeah, I've like if it could be more affordable and accessible. Plus, I think it would just give people more ideas, like stuff that they can do. If you have a garage, if you have tools and things like that. So I would at first, obviously couldn't set like furniture up by myself, like things like that. But I mean, the other day I was like wanted to like kind of like move my room around. And I was like, I bet that I can kind of move stuff around. It took me a little longer, but I did find a way. I've kind of realized, like if you have like good upper body strength and stuff like that, you can still pretty much do like anything that you're trying to do. I mean, I moved like my whole bed frame.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like
entirely.
I get around good around here. This dude, you're talking about wheelchairs. This is Mike Box. He's the guy for wheelchairs, like real custom wheelchairs. He's the man.
Oh wow.
I think he does Aaron Wills stuff, but I'm not sure. I don't want to say that he does and he doesn't, but I think he does. I
mean, I know that because he has like a more custom chair. That's
that's it right there. That's the wheelchair motocross chair.
Oh,
so
okay.
That wheelchair MX, and that is exactly what Aaron Wills uses. Yeah, that might even be Aaron Wills.
It looks so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
The foam pit and like stuff like that, I would be willing to throw backflips and stuff. I would have the balls to do it. I don't think I can do it like on concrete.
Yeah, you're not the Nitro Circus type, huh?
No, I mean like I did a lot of skating and like scooter and BMX stuff when I was younger, but the idea of like doing a wheelchair is just so insane to me. Like you gotta have some nuts of steel to like be willing to do that.
I like watching that dude on them jumps, man, but I am going nowhere near that in my wheelchair. I mean, it would have to be under penalty of death. They'd be like, well, it's either you do that or we shoot you in the face. And then I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going down this big ass ramp then. But that's the only way.
Right. Especially just the gaps he's clearing. It's a wild commitment that he's doing. I mean, he was born with it, I think he it's like born with like spinal bifida or whatever it is.
Bifida, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like, I guess like for I could understand, like you don't really have the idea of like you're losing a lot. In my head though, I always think like I've already been injured. I have this hardware in my back. Like
right. What if I break this?
Yeah, exactly.
What if I break my neck and then become a quad, like lose what I got?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I'm with you. Yeah, heck yeah. Well, man, I appreciate you stopping in this evening. It's been good hanging out with you.
Yeah, of course. It was a lot of fun, man. I enjoyed it a lot.
Right on. I do it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and hope people watch, because I'm just having fun. So
yeah, of course. I'll do my part in like trying to share the link and get it out a little more. Cause I know some people they've definitely said they'd be willing to like watch content if I made it. So I'm sure they might tune in and enjoy it. So.
Oh heck yeah. I mean, we can make it a regular thing. We get on and just bullshit about stuff.
Yeah, of course, dude. I'll try and see if I can write down some good topics and like videos and things to try and review. So.
Oh heck yeah, that'll be cool because I can plug it all on. You can plug it on. I think you can share on that end too. Just hit that. See that little present. Well, I don't know if you can if you're on your phone. If there's like a present there, but on the computer, it's all there. So. Heck yeah. Well, look forward to talking to you here soon, man. So we'll be on again Wednesday. Woo.
Awesome. I'll hopefully see you then, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, man. All right, now we'll talk to you. Bye now.